Harry and Meghan have put Her Majesty the Queen in a rather difficult position, but how? Hi, morning, Neil Sean here in the heart of London. I hope you're keeping well. And of course, that is one of your breaking royal stories coming out of London today. It's interesting, isn't it, with Harry and Meghan, because as each step that they take to this path to freedom, you remember that one, finding freedom? Yes, well, it does seem to be littered with a lot of problems, a lot of potholes along the way. And you know, if you want to be kind, you could say that they really didn't think this through at all. It's nothing really to do with the fact that people have taken against them because they see it as desertion, leaving, of course, our gracious Majesty the Queen in the lurch at such a ripe old age of 95 years old. I really don't see it as that. I think it's their fault, you know. They didn't actually think about what they were going to do. They thought, oh, if they exit and start to create their own financial independence, things would just fall into place. But as we all know in life, things don't often go the way that you plan. And let me explain the reason why. When they first started out, they thought, of course, that they could have this half in, half out approach to British monarchy, you know, pop over whenever they fancied, possibly start to live in Canada first, maybe go to Africa, and then eventually California. Of course, someone else had other ideas about that, and they quickly zipped back to California, where they apparently feel more at home and more comfortable. But now the bigger problems really emerged, and it's Harry and Meghan's own fault. It all stems from yet another miscalculated action by Miss Meghan Markle last week. And that is, of course, writing that open letter to Congress and giving it to selected media. Oh yeah. And of course, letting just selected media print that letter. What's really emerged over here, of course, is that the Republicans who would like the removal of our British monarchy have seized on this opportunity because obviously, if you think about it, there's two ex-royals getting into political territory. It's unheard of and they don't like that happening. It plays right into the hands of the problem that the British monarchy have had to endure for centuries, basically. You know, even Prince Charles will have to temper his, well, opinions once he becomes king. We often say, don't we, that we don't really know the political leanings of Her Majesty the Queen. She only really lets out exactly what she wants to be heard. But now here is the bigger problem, because thanks to that letter, there's a growing groundswell over here in the United Kingdom and across Europe for Her Majesty the Queen to put into action the removal of their titles. Now, as I've told you many times here on the show, it's really not down to Her Majesty. She can be consulted on this, but, you know, if you think about it and work this bit out, Prince Harry is a prince of the realm. He was born into the British monarchy. What can be suggested is that the government look at removing those titles. Now, so far, a lot of people could say, well, what have they done wrong? They wanted financial independence, they wanted to make their own moves, and that's exactly what they've done. But the bigger problem now is, and this is public opinion in the digital world, we're talking, of course, social media, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, you name it. Everybody has an opinion. And the public opinion is you have to be popular. So far, and let's be kind here, Her Majesty the Queen has not come out of this particular well, even though it's nothing to do with her. You know, a lot of people want her to do something to stop these two ex-royals, well, basically profiteering from their titles. Now, as I say, moving forward, unless they stop doing things like this, which antagonises the British public, which is, of course, the public that pays for the monarchy, then they are going to create even bigger problems. For Her Majesty the Queen, I'm sure she's going to be reflecting on how to deal with these bigger issues, as is His Royal Highness Prince Charles. Because, of course, let's face it, whatever happens next, he's going to inherit these problems too. For Harry and Meghan, though, according to very good insiders, they have no plans to remain a silent voice. We've often said here on the show that Meghan Markle, well, wanted to retain her voice. This is the voice, though, that needs zipping, and more importantly, zipping to protect our British monarchy. Neil Sean in the heart of London.